Lord, I do believe that Diane would feel a whole lot better than this. Upstream, the cow stopped running. The horse quit pursuing. The cow hiked her tail. The horse stretched out his legs and leaned forward. "No!" Frank hollered. Then he pulled with all his strength. He rolled out of the creek to the bank on the north side of the stream just as the water changed color. He sat up and held his left elbow. "I can't believe this. There is nothing, absolutely nothing funny about this." He flopped back down on the dirt and continued to gasp. "How did I ever rope that stump? A gunshot? The gunshot threw me off. If Howdy is up there shooting coyotes, I'll skin him alive. This must have been the way St. Paul felt when he said, 'Come quickly, Lord Jesus.' I should have taken that city job with Uncle Sammy." Another gunshot jerked Frank to his feet. He staggered to the creek, holding his aching ribs and looking at his bleeding hands. "Well, thank you, Mrs. Cow, for your timely deposit. I'm not going to wash in that, but I guess I have to retrieve my boot." He grabbed his water-filled boot and his battered hat from the brush, then led the horse up out of the draw to the rise on the rolling prairie. He shook the sticks, dirt, and rock out of his clothing and yanked on the wet boot. The cool breeze through the ripped shirt and vest felt good on his bruised and bleeding back. The horse glanced down the draw at the cow grazing next to the tiny stream. "Oh, you pinned her all right, Carlos," Frank muttered. "And now you're feeling proud." He tucked in the remains of his shirt. "How am I doing? Horse, I'm glad you asked. My elbow is killing me. My back is ripped and raw. I have horrible pain in my ribs and another sharp pain above my right eye. I can barely walk. My mouth and lungs are full of dirt. That cow pert near plopped in my boot. But other than that, I'm just fine." He reset the saddle and tightened the cinch. "Look, horse, if I can get on your back, I expect you to ride me straight to the cemetery. If there's an open grave, I'm just going to roll into it and you can kick dirt over me." With his bloody fingers, he shoved his left foot in the stirrup. He clutched the saddle horn with both hands and pulled himself up in the saddle. But the pain stabbed his elbow. His left arm fell limp, and he found himself only halfway up on the horse. Carlos turned left to spy on him, and when he did, took away any momentum Frank had for tossing his right leg over the horse. Still hanging out in the stirrup, he clenched the saddle horn and tried to keep from being tossed to the ground as the big horse spun to the left. "Cadarce! Carlos! Cadarce!" The horse continued to spin, and Frank felt his grip loosen. "The cow! Donde está la vaca?" he hollered. The gelding stopped spinning and stared down at the creek and grazing cow. Frank slowly pulled his right leg over the cantle. "This is the last horse I ever buy from Uncle Sammy. Never again. When he says, 'Little Frank, he just needs a few miles on him,' I'll say, 'Good. Soon as you ride him to Oklahoma and back, let me take a look.'" His backside burned as he eased down and yanked the .50 caliber Sharps carbine from the scabbard. "Someone's up there shooting on Rafter F land. I would have been better off if they just shot me," he muttered. A flinch of the knees caused the horse to trot north up the rise of brown prairie grass. Each step jarred Frank's ribs, elbow, and forehead. He paused at the summit of the prairie roll. To the west, daylight crept down the distant mountains, turning the Black Hills green and brown. An erratic column of dust grabbed his gaze. He waited for the galloping rider to approach. He patted the horse's neck, then gently rubbed his sore elbow. "It's Howdy Tompkins, Carlos. There isn't anyone else on the ranch who rides like that, except maybe Amber or Aunt Daisy June when they come to visit." He held his ribs and tried to take a breath. "And oh my, I'm glad none of the family is at the ranch today." Frank jammed his carbine back in the scabbard and rested one hand on the saddle.